Hello students, welcome to the English class. Today I am going to continue with the same chapter that we started off in our last class, that is Bholi, written by Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, who I told you there was a famous Indian film director, novelist, screenwriter and a journalist who wrote in Urdu, Hindi and English languages. He was the maker of films, many famous films like S.W. Hindustani, Do Boond Pani, which won the National Filmfare Award for the Best Feature Film on National Integration. And he wrote screen scripts of the best of Raj Kapoor films like Awara, Shri 420, Mera Naam Joker and Bobby. And he was born in the family of the famous Urdu poet Hall, who was a student of Mirza Ghalib. This I told you. And he was born in Panipat in Haryana on June 7, 1914. And this chapter, Bholi, he has written about a small girl whose actual name was Sulekha, and she was called Bholi as she was a slow learner and she stammered due to the mishappening that occurred to her when she was a small child. When she was very small, she fell down from the cot and a part of her brain was damaged. She had lost her beauty due to smallpox, and she was neglected as a witless fool even by his parents and her brothers and sisters. And she is the seventh child in the family. She is the youngest daughter of the village Nambardar named Ramlal, who was a village spokesperson, and he had 3 sons and 4 daughters. Bholi, being the youngest of all, Ramlal was always worried about her as it seemed impossible to marry her with her having an ugly face and a dumb mind. And one day the Tehsildar visited their village to inaugurate a girls' primary school, and he persuaded Ramlal to send his daughters to school. And Ramlal's wife suggested to send Bholi to school, although she was against sending girls to school because no boy would marry such a girl like Bholi, and she reasoned that as Bholi had no chance of getting married, so she could go to school. In the beginning, Bholi was frightened to leave her house, but when, for the first time in her life, she was dressed up and her hair was washed and oiled, she felt that she was to visit a better place. In the school, she met a teacher who was very kind and polite to her, and she encouraged her to study and speak with confidence. And this filled hope in Bholi, and she began to go to school every day. So now we are going to read further what happened. So now we'll begin with page number 57, which says that yes, it will be easy. You just come to school every day, will you come? Bholi nodded. No, say it aloud. Yes, and Bholi herself was astonished that she had been able to say it. Didn't I tell you? Now take this book. The book was full of nice pictures, and the pictures were in color: dog, cat, goat, horse, parrot, tiger, and a cow, just like Lakshmi. And with every picture was a word in big black letters. So here in these lines, the word nodded means bow your head in a direction to give your approval, and astonished means impressed or greatly surprised. So in these lines now, the teacher at once understood her curiosity, Bholi's curiosity, and said that what she had said was true, and that if she came to school every day, she would be able to speak without any problem. Then she inquired if Bholi would come to school the next day. Then Bholi gave her approval by moving her head in up and down direction. The teacher prompted her to speak it loudly, and this encouraged Bholi, and she spoke yes clearly. She was surprised at her ability to speak clearly. The teacher again praised her and gave her a book full of pictures and of dog, cat, goat, etc., with an alphabet written in a big size along with every picture. In 1 month, You will be able to read this book. Then I will give you a bigger book. Then a still bigger one. In time, you will be more learned than anyone else in the village. Then no one will ever be able to laugh at you. People will listen to you with respect and you will be able to speak without the slightest stammer. Understand? Now go home and come back early tomorrow morning. So, in these lines, the teacher, she said that when Bholi would complete that book, she would be giving a bigger book to her, and after that a still bigger book. And she also told her that one day she would become an educated person in the village and people would respect her because of her knowledge and wisdom. Not only this, she would be able to speak clearly, and with this she asked her to come to school early the next morning. Then the next paragraph says, Bholi felt as if suddenly all the bells in the village temple were ringing and the trees in front of the schoolhouse had blossomed into big red flowers. Her heart was throbbing with a new hope and a new life. Thus the years passed, the village became a small town. The little primary school became a high school. There were now a cinema under a tin shed and a cotton grinning mill. The mail train began to stop at their railway station. So now in these lines the word blossomed means grow or bloom. Then throbbed means beat or pulse, and ginning is the process of treating the cotton. So in these lines, Bholi, she was very happy. Her heart felt a rare type of happiness, and she imagined that she could hear the bells at the temple ringing, and imagined that the trees outside the school had red colored flowers on them. And she felt a sudden beat in her heart and made her full of hope and happiness. Years rolled on. It passed by, and the village grew into a small town. Her primary school was now a high school, and there was a cinema under a tin shed and a cotton ginning mill open in her town. And even the mail train started to halt at the village railway station. Then further, the next line says, one night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, then shall I accept Bishambar's proposal? Yes, certainly, his wife said. Bholi will be lucky to get such a well-to-do bridegroom. A big shop, a house of his own, and I hear several thousand in the bank. Moreover, he is not asking for any dowry. That's right, but he is not so young, you know. Almost the same age as I am, and he also limps. Moreover, the children from his first wife are quite grown up. So in these lines, the word proposal means offer and certainly means definitely. So in these lines now, one night Ramlal, he was discussing with his wife that he had got a marriage offer for Bholi, and he asked his wife whether to accept Bishambar's proposal or not. To this, his wife replied that they should definitely accept the proposal because it was suitable for Bholi, as Bholi's mother thought that Bholi would never get married, as she would never get any bridegroom, as she looked very ugly and she was little less in brain. And then she supported her view by saying that Bishambar had a big shop, own house and cash deposit in the bank. Also, he was not asking for dowry, and Ramlal was a bit unsure because Bishambar was of his own age and he was handicapped. He also had grown up children from his first marriage. So you can see that how the parents in the village, they just get their daughters married to such a man who is double or triple of the age of a girl, just because the girl is not good to look at, neither she is as intelligent as other, or she is not normal, you can say, and she is not intelligent as the other girls. So now let's read further what happens. Then further, so what does it matter? His wife replied, 45 or 50, it is no great age for a man. We are lucky that he is from another village and does not know about her pockmarks and her lack of sense. If we don't accept this proposal, she may remain unmarried all her life. Yes, but I wonder what Bholi will say. What will the witless one say? She is like a dumb cow. Then maybe you are right, muttered Ramlal. In the other corner of the courtyard, Bholi lay awake on her cot, listening to her parents' whispered conversation. So, in these lines, the word pockmarks are the marks or blemishes made due to smallpox. Witless is fool and muttered is murmur. So, in these lines, Ramlal's wife or Bholi's mother said that there was no harm in it to accept the proposal of Bishambar if there was a big age gap between Bholi and groom. She said that they could not find any other match for Bholi. And she also said that as he was from another village, he may not know about Bholi's mental condition and her ugly face. And Ramlal said that he was worried that how Bholi would react to it, but her mother replied that Bholi was like a dumb cow. That means she is senseless and she would not say anything. And Bholi was lying in her bed nearby and listening to her parents' conversation. Then the next paragraph says Bishambarnath was a well to do grocer. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for the wedding. A brass band playing a popular tune from an Indian film headed the procession, with the bridegroom riding a decorated horse. Ramlal was overjoyed to see such pomp and splendor, and he had never dreamt that his fourth daughter would have such a grand wedding. Bholi's elder sister, who had come for the occasion, were envious of her luck. So, in these lines, the word grocer means a person who sells household goods and food items. And procession is march or parade, and splendor is lavishness. Envious is jealous. So, in this paragraph, the narrator says that the bridegroom, Bishambarnath, he was a rich man. He had a grocery shop where he used to sell food items and household goods. He had a good business. On the wedding day, he came with his friends and family, and they were accompanied by a brass band which was playing a popular tunes from Hindi movies. And the bridegroom was riding a decorated horse. Ramlal was very happy to see all this splendor, all this riches, or all this kind of procession, and he had never dreamt of such a grand wedding for his fourth daughter. Bholi's elder sister, they also felt jealous of her good luck. Then further, the next paragraph says when the auspicious moment came, the priest said, "Bride, bring the bride." And Bholi, clad in a red silken bridal dress, was led to the bride's place where the sacred fire garlanded the bride. One of his friends prompted Bishambarnath. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigolds. Then a woman slipped back the silken veil from the bride's face. Bishambar took a quick glance, and the garland remained poised in his hand. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. "Have you seen her?" said Bishambar to the friend next to him. "She has pockmarks on her face." "So what? You are not young either." "Maybe, but I am to marry her. Her father must give me 5,000 rupees. So in these lines now, auspicious means good or favorable, glad is dressed, garland, wreath of flowers and leaves, veil is cover, and poised means calm. So in these lines, on the wedding day, Bholi was brought for the wedding rituals. She was dressed in a red silk sari. When she reached, one of the Bishambar's friends asked him to garland the bride. And as he was about to put the garland around her neck, a woman removed the veil that covered her face. And he saw the blemishes on her face and at once objected to the marks on the bride's face. His friend answered that he should ignore this as he himself was not young to marry a young girl like her. And Bishambar told Ramlal that he wanted 5,000 rupees in return for marrying an ugly woman like Bholi. So then further, Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Bishambar's feet. "Do not humiliate me so. Take 2,000 rupees. No, 5,000, or we go back. Keep your daughter. Be a little considerate, please. If you go back, I can never show my face in the village." Then out with 5,000. The tears streaming down his face, Ramlal went in, opened the safe, and counted out the notes, and he placed the bundle at the bridegroom's feet. Then on Bishambar's greedy face appeared a triumphant smile. He had gambled and won. Give me the garland, he announced. So, in these lines, the word humiliate means insult, considerate is thoughtful, streaming means flowing, triumphant is winning, and gambled means bet. So, in these lines, it is said that on hearing the bridegroom's demand, Ramlal got so upset that he went to him and asked his turban at his feet. He requested him to be considerate and requested him to accept 2000 rupees instead of 5000 as dowry. Then Bishambar was firm and said that he could keep his daughter at home. Then Ramlal requested him not to do all this as it would ruin his bride in front of the whole village. It would ruin his pride in front of the whole village. He was worried about his pride, but Vishambar was adamant on his demand of 5000 rupees. And Ramlal went inside and brought 5000 rupees from the safe. He counted the money and handed it over to Bishambar. Now the bridegroom was happy because he had won the bet and he asked for the garland. He was now ready for the marriage. So now the next paragraph says further, the next paragraph says once again the veil was slipped back from the bride's face, but this time her eyes were not downcast. She was looking up, looking straight at her prospective is would be husband. And in her eyes there was neither anger nor hate, only cold contempt. Contempt is disrespect. Then Bishambar raised the garland to place it round the bride's neck, but before he could do so, Bholi's hand struck out like a streak of lightning, and the garland was flung into the fires. Flung is aim or launch. And she got up and threw away the veil. Threw away the veil is she threw away the cover or the ghungat. So in these lines, now Bholi removed the cover off her face and stared at Vishambar. Her eyes were full of disrespect for him. There was no anger or hatred in her eyes. And as Bishambar was about to garland her, she struck her hand and at the garland as quick as a streak of lightning, just like a lightning, tam se jaldi se. And the garland flew and fell into the sacred fire. She threw away her veil too. Then she said, then further, let's see what she says. Pitaji, said Bholi in a clear, loud voice, and her father, mother, sisters, brothers, relations, and neighbors were startled to hear her speak without even the slightest stammer. Startled means very much surprised. Pitaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man. Ramlal was thunderstruck. Thunderstruck means shocked. The guests began to whisper, so shameless, so ugly, and so shameless. Bholi, are you crazy? Shouted Ramlal. You want to disgrace your family? Have some regard for our izzat. For the sake of your izzat, said Bholi, I was willing to marry this lame old man, but I will not have such a mean, greedy, and contemptible is offensive, coward as my husband. I won't. So, in these lines, Naboli addressed her father by saying, Pitaji, her voice was clear and she spoke without stammering. Earlier, she used to stammer while speaking, but now, after she got educated, she was learning to speak. She now spoke very clearly without stammering. Without haklana, this was stammering is haklana. Her family was shocked to see this. She continued and said that her father should take back his money as she would not marry this man. Ramlal was shocked to hear all that. Even the relatives, they started whispering that the girl was shameless as she was refusing to marry. Then Ramlal grew angry and shouted at Bholi, and she had gone mad because, and he shouted at Bholi saying that she had gone mad because such an act of her could bring disgrace to their family. Bholi replied that it was for the sake of her family's honor that she had consented to marry the lame old man, but she was not ready to marry a greedy coward. Coward is darpok. So he is calling the Bishambar as a coward now, greedy coward. Then further, the next paragraph says, what a shameless girl. Then further, the next paragraph says, "What a shameless girl! We all thought she was a harmless dumb cow." Boli turned violently on the old woman. "Yes, auntie, you are right. You all thought I was a dumb driven cow. That's why you wanted to hand me over to this heartless creature. But now the dumb cow, the stammering fool, is speaking. Do you want to hear more?" Bishambarnath, the grocer, started to go back with his party. The confused bandsman thought this was the end of the ceremony and struck up a closing song. So now in these lines, now the word violently means strong or extreme manner. Dumb is dull, heartless is unkind. So in these lines now, it is said that an old woman commented that Bholi was a shameless girl, though they all thought that she was a dull and innocent girl and she would not speak anything. She would not go against anybody. She would not speak anything as she is a dumb cow. Then Bholi looked at her, that lady, that woman, with extreme anger and said that everyone thought that she was a fool and that is why they wanted to marry her off to an unkind man, and that too with the man of her double age. And they called her, all the ladies, all the women, they called her shameless because she could take a stand for herself. Bishambarnath and his friends and family started to return now. The bandsmen, they were not sure of what was happening. They thought that the marriage ceremony had completed, and so they started playing the music related to the ending of a wedding ceremony. Then further, the last paragraph, Ramlal stood rooted to the ground, his head bowed low with the weight of grief and shame. Grief is sorrow. The flames of the sacred fire slowly died down. Everyone was gone. Ramlal turned to Bholi and said, "But what about you? No one will ever marry you now. What shall we do now? Do with you?" And Sulekha said in a voice that was calm and steady, "Don't you worry, Pitaji. In your old age, I will serve you and mother, and I will teach in the same school where I learnt so much. Isn't that right, ma'am?" The teacher had all along stood in a corner watching the drama. "Yes, Bholi, of course," she replied, and in her smiling eyes was the light of a deep satisfaction that an artist feels when contemplating the completion of her masterpiece. So again, the last line, it is a simile. So in these lines, the word rooted means fixed, grief means sorrow, steady means firm, and contemplating means view or observe. So in these lines now, Ramlal was in deep sorrow. He was feeling very much ashamed as Bishambarnath, he returned with the party as his daughter, she refused to marry Bishambarnath. The flames of the sacred fire died after some time and the guests also went away. He then asked Bholi that what would be her future now and who would marry her. On this, Bholi replied that she would take care of both her parents in their old age and would teach in the same school that had made her learn so much. She sought approval from her teacher, who was sitting there only and who was quietly watching all the drama. And she approved Bholi's statement. She was deeply satisfied with Bholi's response to the whole situation. And it was similar to the way an artist, her teacher is called as an artist because she only had trained Bholi. She only had taught Bholi, so she was the artist. She is called as an artist, and she feels when she sees his masterpiece once it is complete. So she had that same kind of satisfaction. The teacher, she had the same kind of satisfaction as an artist who, what does he feel when he completes his masterpiece or his painting? So the same kind of feeling the teacher was having at that time. So this is all for today in this chapter. Thank you and goodbye. Hope you all liked this chapter.